Most older men don't even realize it when a woman is trying to flirt with them, especially when it's wrapped in something as simple, as subtle, as innocent as a question. Like, what are you doing this weekend? Sounds like nothing, right? Just casual conversation, just small talk. But it's not. Not to her. That question is loaded, but not in a dangerous way, in a hopeful way, in a way that says, I want to be part of your world. Will you let me in? See, women, especially younger women who admire older men, don't always hit you with obvious signals. They don't come out and say, I like you, take me out. They watch you. They study your rhythm. They pay attention to the way you carry yourself, the way you talk, the way your silence says more than your words. And when she finally gathers the courage to speak up, she won't jump straight into flirting, no. She'll wrap her interest in the softest layers: curiosity, politeness, friendly concern. That's where the question comes in. What are you doing this weekend? Not because she's nosy, not because she's bored, but because she's looking for an opening, a moment, a chance. Older men, you often miss it because you're not used to being pursued. You think pursuit is something that ends after a certain age, that women your junior only want attention from guys their age, but the truth is, many of them crave presence, not performance. They crave steadiness, maturity, depth, and when they see that in you, they look for a way to get close, but without risking too much of their pride. So she asks, softly, casually, but make no mistake, she's not just making conversation. She's measuring your response. If you answer like it's nothing, oh, nothing much, or just staying in and then move on, you close the door she tried to crack open. But if you pause, if you look her in the eye and say, I haven't made plans yet. Why, did you have something in mind? Oh, now you're speaking her language. Now you've seen her. Now you've given her a reason to smile for the rest of the day. You see, her question isn't just about your schedule, it's about possibility. She's trying to find out if she fits in your life. She's asking if your world has space for her, even for just a little while. And when you ignore it or treat it as a throwaway moment, she learns something too. She learns that maybe you're not looking, maybe you're not open, maybe you're not ready. That's the sad part, because sometimes it's not that the opportunity wasn't there, it's that you didn't see it for what it was. You thought it was just a question, just a line, just passing time. But to her, it took effort. It took courage. She had to quiet the voice in her head telling her not to say anything, not to risk anything. And she still asked, she still tried. Women don't ask these things lightly, not when they admire you, not when they're drawn to the quiet weight of your presence. That question, what are you doing this weekend? It's not small, it's everything. It's her attempt at building a bridge. It's her saying, I could have sent this to anyone, but I chose you. And when you shrug it off, it doesn't just end the moment, it leaves her questioning her own instincts, her own worth. Now I know some of you are thinking, if she wanted to spend time with me, why didn't she just say it? And I get that. But you've got to understand, when a younger woman admires an older man, there's already a power dynamic. She already feels like she's risking more. So she tests the waters gently. She gives you just enough to see if you'll lean in. Not enough to embarrass herself, but enough to feel vulnerable. And if you're not paying attention, if you don't catch the warmth in her tone or the softness in her eyes when she asks, you'll miss the whole invitation. Because that's what it is, an invitation. Not to just hang out, not just to kill time, but to start something, to connect, to be seen in a way you haven't been in a long time. So the next time a woman asks you a question that seems too ordinary, too basic to mean anything, stop, look a little deeper, feel the energy behind it. Listen to what she's not saying, because chances are she's not just asking a question. She's asking for a moment. And that moment could change everything. You know what's interesting? Older men often think they've heard it all. Conversations become predictable, polite, surface level. So when a woman starts asking questions, especially a younger one, most don't look twice. They think, oh, she's just being friendly. But there's a difference, a huge difference between polite curiosity and personal interest. And the saddest part is, so many men miss that line completely. When a woman is truly into you, her questions won't be about facts. They'll be about feeling. She won't just ask you what you do for a living. She'll ask why you chose it. She won't stop at how was your day. She'll want to know what made you smile today or what didn't. She wants to reach you, but gently. She's not barging into your world. She's tapping softly, hoping you'll open the door and invite her in. There's something so powerful in the way a woman asks about your life when she cares. It's subtle. She'll say things like, "Did that meeting go the way you hoped?" Or, "You mentioned your father the other day. Were you close with him?" And I know some men freeze when they hear questions like that. They're not used to it. They've gone so long without someone asking about their emotional world that when someone finally does, they mistake it for nosiness. But it's not. It's intimacy in disguise. You see, she's not trying to dig into your past to find your secrets. She's trying to find your center. She wants to know where your silence comes from, what your laughter hides, what your stillness says when you're too tired to speak. Because for her, connection doesn't begin with chemistry. It begins with understanding. It begins with your truth. But here's where most older men make the mistake. They answer casually. They brush off the questions with a joke or a one-liner. They keep it light, thinking that's what she wants. What they don't realize is she already knows your resume. She can sense your confidence. What she wants now is the you that no one else sees, the part that doesn't show up on first dates or in job interviews, the part that only comes out when someone makes you feel safe. So when she asks something that seems a little deeper than usual, something like, "Have you always been this calm?" or "Do you believe in second chances?" That's not small talk. That's her way of saying, "I want to know who you are beneath the surface." And trust me, if you take a breath and give her an honest answer, even just a glimpse of your real self, something shifts. She leans in. She opens up more. The wall comes down just a little. And that's where real connection begins. Now, I'm not saying you have to spill your heart right away, but if you're always brushing her off with dry, safe answers, if your replies stay in the land of, "Yeah, work was fine," or "Nothing much happened," she'll think you're not emotionally available. She'll start to believe you're not interested in being known. And for a woman who's emotionally awake, that's a deal breaker. Not because she's needy, but because she's invested. She wants to understand you, not just be entertained by you. Sometimes she's not even aware of how much she's opening herself up when she asks these questions. Because it takes vulnerability to be curious. It takes courage to say, "I want to know your pain, not just your plans." But she does it anyway. She takes the risk, hoping that maybe, just maybe, you'll meet her halfway. It's not about being dramatic. It's not about turning every conversation into therapy. It's about being present, about being real, about giving her something more than what the world sees. Because what she's really asking is, do you trust me enough to let me in? And if your answer, spoken or unspoken, is always not really, then she'll slowly walk away. Not with anger, not with bitterness, just with quiet disappointment. Because she tried. That's the part so many men don't realize. She wasn't looking for attention. She was offering it. She wasn't trying to make you talk. She was trying to understand your silence. She didn't want to impress you. She wanted to feel you. And when you don't let her, she won't force it. But you'll lose more than a conversation. You'll lose the kind of connection most people only dream of. Because when a woman asks you something personal, she's not being intrusive. She's being intentional. And that's rare. Don't miss it sometimes when a woman brings up her struggles. Maybe she says she's tired of her job, or she feels stuck, or that her friends don't understand her. Most men, especially older men, immediately switch into problem-solving mode. They hear what she says and think, she needs advice. She needs solutions. She's coming to me because I have experience, because I can fix it. But what if I told you that's not what she's looking for? She's not asking for answers. She's asking for attention. She wants to feel heard. She wants to feel seen. She's not testing your intellect. She's testing your presence. And I know, it can be hard to understand that at first. You spent your whole life believing that your value as a man comes from your ability to solve, to guide, to lead. And don't get me wrong, those qualities are beautiful. They matter. But sometimes what a woman needs most is for you to simply listen, to be there. When a younger woman brings her problems to you, she's not always overwhelmed. She's not always in crisis. She's opening a door. She's trying to let you into the parts of her world she doesn't show just anyone. And the only thing she wants in return is your attention, your emotional presence, your warmth, not your fixes, not your opinions, just your willingness to sit with her in whatever moment she's in. You have to understand, when a woman feels something for you, real attraction, real admiration, one of the ways she tries to deepen that bond is by sharing pieces of her emotional life. If she tells you she's been feeling off lately, or that she's having a rough time with someone close to her, it's not small talk, it's vulnerability. And vulnerability is how she connects. But what happens too often is this: she opens up, and instead of just listening, really listening, you jump in with advice. You start saying things like, well, here's what you need to do, or you shouldn't worry about that, or that's just life. And in doing that, you unintentionally shut the door she just worked up the courage to open. Because what you don't realize is she already knows what she could do. She probably even knows what she should do. But that's not why she came to you. She came to you to feel understood. And when you skip over her feelings and rush to fix the problem, she feels dismissed. That's not the connection she's craving. That's not the intimacy she's trying to build. Sometimes all it takes is a pause, a breath, a soft, "that sounds really heavy," or "I'm sorry you're going through that." Just that. Just being with her in the emotion. That's where trust is built. That's where attraction deepens. Because now she's not just looking at you as someone older, someone mature. She's seeing you as someone emotionally intelligent, someone safe. And that's rare. That's magnetic. You want to know the real secret? The men who make women feel the most seen aren't the ones who talk the most or solve the most. They're the ones who stay the most. Stay in the moment, stay present, stay open. They're the ones who make a woman feel like her emotions aren't a burden, but a bridge. You may not understand why she's upset. You may not even agree with how she's reacting to something. But if you can hold that space for her, if you can look at her and say, "I may not have the answer, but I'm here," that's everything. That's what she came to you for. And don't be surprised if, after that moment, her whole energy toward you shifts. She becomes softer, warmer, more affectionate, because now she knows that you don't just hear her, you feel her. And when a woman feels emotionally safe with a man, she gives him parts of herself that no charm or clever words could ever unlock. So the next time she comes to you with a problem, don't rush to solve it. Don't treat her like a puzzle that needs fixing. Sit with her. Feel her. Let her know that she doesn't have to shrink her feelings just to be around you. Because when she brings you her struggles, what she's really saying is, "I trust you with my chaos." And if you can hold that with care, you'll have more than her attention. You'll have her heart. Sometimes the most unexpected way a woman flirts with a man, especially an older man, is by teasing him, making a joke, saying something a little bold, a little cheeky, like, "You must have been a heartbreaker back in the day," or "I bet you give lectures on how to drink coffee properly." And most older men miss it completely. They either take it literally, get slightly defensive, or laugh it off awkwardly. But what they don't realize is that was flirting. That was her way of drawing near to you without getting too close too fast. You see, when a younger woman is interested in a man who's more mature, there's already a certain power imbalance. Not in a negative way, but in a way that makes her feel like she has to catch up to you emotionally. So instead of complimenting you directly, because that feels too vulnerable, she leads with humor. It's playful, it's safe, and at the same time, it's incredibly revealing. When she says something sarcastic like, "You're trouble, aren't you?" or "I bet you read 5 books before breakfast," she's not just teasing your habits or your vibe. She's trying to create chemistry without saying it outright. It's a dance, and in that moment, she's inviting you into it. But here's where many men miss the cue. They respond with confusion, or seriousness, or worse, they deflect the comment completely. What they don't see is that humor, especially that light flirtatious humor, isn't random. It's carefully chosen. It's her way of lowering the guard without lowering her dignity. She doesn't want to come across as obvious, but she also doesn't want to go unnoticed. So she walks the line, hoping you'll meet her halfway. Think about it. In a world where most women are approached constantly, where they're judged on their appearance, where attention is loud and shallow, do you know how rare it is for a woman to take the lead in her own subtle way? It takes confidence. It takes a level of emotional playfulness that says, I'm not here to throw myself at you, but I do want you to see me. That joke, that playful insult, that exaggerated remark about your age or how serious you look, that was her tapping on your shoulder with a smile. And if you really listen, if you don't just hear her words but feel the tone behind them, you'll notice the softness, the interest, the invitation. She's saying, I want to laugh with you. I want to see how you'll respond to me. I want to know if you can match my energy. That's not just flirting, it's emotional flirting. And emotional flirting is far more powerful than anything physical. Some men take teasing as disrespect. They hear a woman say, you're kind of mysterious, and they think it's a critique. No, it's a compliment wrapped in a challenge. She wants to figure you out. She wants to know what's beneath that calm, composed exterior. And her teasing, that's her way of poking a little hole in your armor just to see what's hiding underneath. She's not trying to mock you. She's trying to connect. But she's doing it in a way that gives her space to pull back if needed. Because the truth is, flirting is risky, especially when it's directed at someone she sees as emotionally mature. Someone she's unsure will even notice or care. So when she teases you, the best thing you can do isn't to correct her or deflect. The best thing you can do is lean into it. Tease her back, smile a little slower, hold her gaze just a second longer. Say something like, you're not too bad at reading people yourself, or, and you, I bet, are trouble in disguise. That's how you keep the rhythm going. That's how you match her courage with your charm. Because what she's doing isn't random. It's intentional. She chose to say something to you that walks the edge between curiosity and attraction. And if you don't see that, or worse, if you see it and freeze, you miss a moment that could have grown into something unforgettable. At the end of the day, flirting isn't about words. It's about connection. It's about feeling that spark of interest underneath a layer of laughter. And when she jokes with you, especially in a way that no one else dares to, she's not testing your patience. She's testing your emotional presence. She wants to know if you can handle the kind of affection that comes wrapped in mischief. Because sometimes the woman who makes you laugh the most